Hello there and welcome to Tom's Warhammer Minis. Kelthannor the Forest Prince is a member of the Golden Hunt, a nomadic clan who worship the hunter god Kurnoth. His journey in a Jade Abbey is to slay a worthy opponent for the rite of passage to become a would-be king. This is another fantastic model from the Darkwater box set, the last of my heroes to be painted, and in this guide I'll showcase how to easily paint him up as quickly as possible. So grab your paints and your brushes and let's get hobby. And we're starting with Kelthannor. It is a rather imposing model considering what it is. It's actually going to be really easy. I've got all the colours planned. It's super simplistic. Let's get cracking. To begin with, the model is primed in White Scar. That's the same for all of my Darkwater minis. It's pretty much how I do my work. Now, the base is already done. We've got Stirland Mud applied to it. I've done that with all of the models. And we're going to begin with the skin tone. This is the most important feature, I feel, to get done first, just because there's a lot of areas where it's tucked in other details. If we are messy now by accident, we can correct. It's a lot harder to correct later on. So, might as well just get cracking and do the skin tone. Now, there are two halves to this. You have humanoid flesh up here. We have the centaur's body flesh down here, which is darker, greyish, almost hinting towards black. We're going to do an all-over flesh tone to begin with, and the colour here is Fyreslayer Flesh. Now, I haven't thinned it down. I'd recommend for most people just add a drop of Lahmium Medium. We're not talking in ratio here, we're talking just a drop, just to give you a bit of control and a bit of flow if you struggle with drying lines. Technically, the drying lines aren't a huge issue down this area because this is not going to be the colour that we see at the end. The reason why we're doing Fyreslayer Flesh all over is because if we just paint grey on, it's just grey. You know, let's be frank when we talk about it. We are creating the illusion that this is flesh, and having this as an underlayer colour will help trick our eyes just to accept it more willingly than just painting grey over. So that's the reason why I've done it. I've not gone completely mad. So get that done, and then we're going to do a cheeky dry brush. And the colour that I'm using is Pallid Wych Flesh. Now this is just going over what will be the grey areas of the centaur's body. Essentially, I'm not aiming for a wonderful edge highlight. It doesn't have to be super neat either. We just want to roughly catch as many raised areas as possible, buffing surfaces where light will hit. Essentially, when we paint the grey over, it's going to be thinned down. It will separate regardless from edges because it's contrast painting and create a natural grey highlight. The idea is we're speed painting and we're just making and taking advantage of the things we've got working for us. Next up, we are going to take Ratling Grime and we're going to thin it down ever so slightly. So this is going to be a 2-to-1 mix. 2 parts of Ratling Grime mixed with roughly 1 part of Lahmium Medium. Essentially, it's going to thin it down, give us a lot of control, but still leave a lot of that darkness in place. So once again, take it section by section. This is for all of the skin tone that we see on the lower half of the body. Essentially, you can see you've got that little gap in there that's exposed flesh. We're starting from that kind of height where the waist is, and everything from there backwards and downwards is in this colour. Nice and simple. Just take your time, get it all on. You've got a couple of little ropes here that I avoided painting in the first part, the Fyreslayer Flesh, so I've just gone straight over that. I am going to do another dry brush towards the end, so those ropes will get caught as well, so it's not an issue painting over them at this stage, or if you accidentally caught them and they're too dark at this stage either. So get that done and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're base coating this green cloth. The colour is Creed Camo. Now, I have not thinned this down, but again, if you're struggling with getting drying lines and it's something that you've not done before with large surface areas, then I would recommend a small drop of Lahmium Medium. Once again, this is not about affecting the ratio, it's just a drop to help you with the control and the flow of paint. But this is all the green cloth that you can see, wraps around here, goes around the back, around here, and it loops around here. Now, the question is, where do you start? I had a look at the model before I started painting it. I started here. So you've got this little fold here. So we're starting on the left-hand side, and I'm painting up this way, going down this way. So when you get to the bottom, to turn the model this way round to paint up, letting it settle, to turn it round to paint over, up to this fold, that you can see here, the bottom part, completing this entire section off, then starting from the bottom left, working your way up to the top and then down again, because you've got a little section just here, like a little, where you can see that recess shade. We can stop there and concentrate on this area, including the other side, and then just working your way around all the way until you meet up. Nice and simple. Looks more complicated than it actually is. Next up, we are taking Volupus Pink, and as you can see, we're not needing to turn the model around. It's these 3 bits of leather here. They've got this kind of pinkish red hue. I've gone down the pink route just to make some interesting colour choices, and Volupus Pink works wonders here. Always start again from the top, work your way down to the bottom, let it settle in the recesses, and just let it dry as we move on to the next step. Next up, we're taking Cygor Brown, and this is going to be for all of the brown leather details. So you've got the arrow quiver, the main part there. I have gone over the bit that's metallic at the bottom, but that's not a problem because it's metallics and they can go over it. You've got the little dagger, the leather there. Once again, I've gone over the metal bit, but again, it's not a problem. Just beware of the little rope that's holding it. That needs to be done in a different colour. You've got the rope, also say the leather strap that goes under. You've got the ones that are going around and the waist. Essentially just picking them out. The other bit I've done with the Cygor Brown is the soil. So you've got soil that's sculpted there, a tiny little bit there. I just want to pick it out so it matches the Stirland Mud. So do those details, take your time, and then we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're taking Agrax Earthshade, and I'm doing a shade as well as some base coating with this colour. So first of all, as you can see, I've done it over the Stirland Mud, and that's including the Cygor Brown soil. Just ties it all together, makes a bit of detailing within it, and it's just ready for us to dry brush later on. Other than that, our base coat is in one of 2 places. We've got the little rope that's holding this dagger together, and then you've got the wood of the arrows themselves. Nice and simple. Next up, we're taking Skeleton Horde, and this is going to be for the main wood of the bow, as you can see. And then I've done the hooves as well, which is a nice contrasting brown against the skin tone as well as the base. So apply those, let them dry, and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're taking Nuln Oil, and I'm using this as a base coat colour just to paint in the horn. Nice and simple. And I'm letting a heavy amount just settle in the opening funnel bit there, just to really create that depth of shadow. Our next colour is Gore Grunta Fur. This is for these sort of arm fan braces that we see here, just on the wrists. Nice and simple. There are jewels within them. They are painted green on the box art. We will cover that towards the end. But for now, because that would be a metallic detail, just paint straight over them. Next up, we're going to base coat the hair, and there are 2 colours to use here. Now, before we go into the colours, I'm going to paint the first one roughly down to here, and while it's still wet, wash and clean the brush and apply the second paint over it all the way down to the bottom, creating a natural blend. So the colours are Black Templar, and that's all the way from the top all the way down to here. Wash your brush and then take Flesh Tearers Red and simply paint it from here all the way to the end. And we've got it for the ends of the arrows too as well. Might as well use the same colour as they're coated in red on the box art too. Next up, we're going to base coat the feathers that are on top of his helmet. Now, there are 2 colours once again, and we're doing the exact same thing where we're blending one into the other as it's been applied. So, to begin with, we're going to do it in 2 different ways. Well, not 2 different ways, but 2 ways in particular. We're going to paint this side, finish it off, then paint this side, finish it off. We're not painting it all in one go, and the reason why I'm saying this is because we're going to take Gore Grunta Fur first and literally paint it over the entirety of all the feathers this time. Now, while it's wet and you've applied it on the entirety of it, we're going to take Black Templar. Keep your model flat, so gravity is pointing this way down, so it's not going to drain. So if you've got a painting handle, you can just hold the model like this, or hold the rim of the base, but you want to keep it flat, because we're going to take Black Templar, and while it's wet, just paint it into the tops, and as you see, it will create a natural blend, because obviously it's wet. Doing the same on the other side. If you have it like this, there's going to be too much paint, because you've got 2 lots of liquid, and it's just going to drain down, and it's just going to spoil. So be patient, let it settle, hold it like this, and you get this nice awesome effect that you see on the box art. Next up, we're focusing on the base. This is our last of our contrast painting colours, and to begin with, trust the pot, even though it's not the right one. This is Basilicanum Grey, and we are going to apply this over the statue and the rock. Nice and simple. Then we've got the little grass that is growing here and here. Nice and simple. We're taking Ork Flesh, and once again just painting it straight on. Now we are going to dry brush our model. In a sense, all of these colours are going to be one overall dry brush, hitting every surface and making it all linked together neatly. But before we do that, we need to do a shade. So I'll explain that in the next step. But what we need is to make sure that everything on this model is dry before we apply that. Next up, we're taking Athonian Camoshade, and this is going to be an overall wash. I am thinning this down. This is a 1-to-1 mix with Lahmium Medium. So we're going to mix these two together in a palette, and literally we're just painting Athonian Camoshade over every single thing we've painted so far. Doesn't matter what the colour is, we're just painting it over. It's going to be thinned down, so it's not going to heavily tint or adjust anything. We don't have to apply it to the base, so if you want to, that's down to you. It's not going to cause any harm, but there's just no actual need. There are two reasons to this. It's about providing more definition, more detail to the model, and it does look a lot better with just this as an overall wash. But there's another reason. We're going to dry brush all that we've done so far in one colour just to speed up the process, so we've got an awesome looking model ready for the game. Now, when we put contrast paints on, they are thin. Therefore, when you dry brush, and even when you're just holding models, they tend to rub off quite quickly because they just haven't got that strength or consistency that a normal paint has. But the Lahmium Medium is used to seal things. So quite often you'll see people seal their transfers onto Space Marines and things like that with Lahmium Medium. It's what Warhammer Official even recommend. It's like a mini varnish, essentially. So by applying this with the Lahmium Medium, we're applying a mini varnish all over, so that when we gently dry brush in the next step, it shouldn't chip anything off at all. It's not 100% guarantee. I mean, if you hack at it, it's going to come off, but if you're gentle, it shouldn't. So take your time, make sure it doesn't pull excessively, keep an eye on where you're applying it and where it's pooling, but we want an overall wash, A, to protect our model, B, to make it look even more awesome. So like I mentioned, we're doing an overall dry brush, taking all of those details and gently catching all those edges. The colour is Screaming Skull. This is including the base as well. Just be very gentle, take it section by section, and as you can see, this colour just works absolutely perfectly on all the colours we've created so far. And it does tie them together perfectly. It just makes everything stand out beautifully. I'm happy with it. We're going to move on to base coating our metallic details next. Next up, we need to take our time, being very careful as we apply all of our metallic details. So to begin with, the gold is obviously classic Retributor Armour. And quite simply, rather than going through every single detail, I'm just going to do a slow little 360, just so you get an idea. There's quite a lot of this to do. So just take your time, be patient, and it will look more fantastic as you go along. Now, for our silver details, which is a lot less to do, we're going to take Iron Warriors. So once again, there's just the arrowhead up here, you've got the little blade on the tail, you've got the helmet down here, nice and simple. Now, I'm also taking, as a base coat, Stormhost Silver, and I'm going to pick out the gem here, and the little gems on the wrists. Just there. Next up, we are taking Hexwraith Flame. This is a very weak contrast paint. I'm not thinning it down. I'm literally painting it into the sort of recessed area that's on his chest there. Nice and simple. Just apply it in there. Next up, I'm going to go through the list of paints and what I've done to finish off the model. So to begin with, we are going to shade the metallic details. We're going to go classic with the gold, Reikland Fleshshade, and we're going to go classic with silver, Nuln Oil. The Nuln Oil, of course, going only on the back blade of the tail. We're not doing the helmet on the floor. So, obviously, let those dry. While we're doing that, we can focus on the gem on the chest here. It is a very bright blood red, and the colour I've used here is Baal Red. Nice and simply a small amount on the tip of the brush and just apply it onto the Stormhost Silver that we base coated. Now when it dries, it is going to be very dull, and we're going to come back to that in a second. We're also going to take Striking Scorpion Green and just the tiniest dot onto the gems on the wrist fan braces, nice and simple. And again, they're going to dry very matte. So when those two are dry, this is the Baal Red and the Striking Scorpion Green, we're going to take Ardcoat, or any gloss varnish will do, and just apply a small amount onto the gem. And as you can see, just on that red gem alone, it is super shiny. Focusing on the helmet down here, I've just taken pure Mantis Warriors Green and painted it straight over the helmet, giving it that toxic tint. Moving on, we're going to do the eyes. Nice and simple. If I hold it steady there, you can see nice and simple white scar as a dot, and then an even smaller dot just using the finest tip of a brush of Abaddon Black. And lastly, finishing off all those metallic details once the shade paints are dried, I've just taken Stormhost Silver and done a very gentle dry brush over the gold and the silver, just finishing them off entirely. All I need to do now is the base. There's a lot of open room there. It's worth applying lots of different things. I'm going to apply flowers and grass tufts just to really make it stand out. And there we have it. Kelthannor is complete and he just looks incredible. It's not the hardest model to paint in the set, in the sense they all have their unique challenges, but for the heroes it is the most time consuming. It's a big model, there's lots and lots of awesome detail. And if this video has inspired you, if it's helped you to get yours done, then please do give it a like. And please do share it too, because sharing means other people find the channel, they find the video, they see other things, and if it supports them, then it helps them. And that's really important. That's what this channel is for. And if you haven't already, then please do consider subscribing, because it's every bit of support that keeps the channel growing. And supporting me means I continue supporting you, the awesome Warhammer community. So, until the next video, do look after yourselves and happy hobbying.